Hello, everybody. I started this too fast and my IT guy's gonna holler at me. Give me just a second, you guys. I'm trying to get everybody in here. Everybody's leaving the AGLA webinar probably and joining us over here, which is fine. Just bear with me while I get everybody in. Oh. Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hi, Patty.
Hi. All right, we got a lot of people coming in. I'm trying to get everybody in. Accept, admit, I'm getting everybody in here. Hello, everybody. How are ya? If you just were at the AGLA webinar, thank you for joining us. Nice to see everybody today. I can talk a little bit about the AGLA webinar. If you weren't in it, it was on keeping yourself organized and things of that nature. If anybody has any questions about that, let me know now or forever hold your peace. I'm just kidding. We talked about organizational skills on AGLA's website this morning. So that just ended and that was nice. I don't know if you guys know this, but AGLA's very adamant about it. Michael Weinstein's at it again. He's trying to do justification for renters. It'll be on the ballot. I think he should go to foreign countries and leave us alone, but hey, no, he's back. He's a nightmare, just so you know. And dealing with him is quite challenging. He's extremely educated and knows where to poke to try to get things to pass. So I'll leave that at that. Definitely something that we need to watch out for is his new initiative. And it'll most likely be on the ballot this year. So great, lovely. Don't get me going. All right. So let me see if we have does anybody have questions, things that they want to talk about? I'm going to let you guys know right now, we are not doing a Wednesday with Widget next week on Wednesday. We are not doing it. The Wednesday with Widget is canceled for next week. My plan is to be on a deep sea fishing boat somewhere off the coast of California and reeling in Moby Dick and whoever else I can get on the other end of my line. That is my goal. So let's hope that I get them. But that's next week, not this week. Just want to let you guys know we are not doing a Wednesday with Widget next week. I am unavailable. Okay? Please, I do get a vacation once in a while. So I want to use it. Belsi, our management companies in California manage properties in Utah, only processing payments and nothing else. Are you paying attention? In order to collect rents legally for someone else, you need to be a licensed agent working under a broker. And if you want to do that in Utah too, you need to be licensed in Utah as well as California. I hope that answered the question. Otherwise, you could be charged with practicing real estate without a license. Hope that makes sense. And the only person that does not need a license to be a property manager is a person that works on site. They do not have to be licensed. But other than that, you need to be a licensed sales agent working under a broker in order to collect rents for profit. And if you want to do that in another state, then you need to get licensed in that state and follow the same real estate law for that state. There are a lot of agents that are dual agents, meaning not that they represent both buyers and sellers or landlords and tenants, but meaning they cover multiple states. So somebody may have a real estate license in California and in Las Vegas and maybe one in Delaware. Who knows? But you need to get licensed in that state if you want to practice business in that state. Hello, Val. Gotcha, Belsi. My question is about what I can say regarding potential tenants. Okay, so we're going to call those applicants. Within hours, I received about a dozen applicants. While I say no evictions, they all have either UD or horde felonies, including child abuse, weapons, drugs, prostitution. What wording regarding no felonies can I use in my ad without being discriminatory? You can't, but you can. Paying attention? We cannot say no felonies because felons are a protected class in the state of California, okay? They've done their crime, they've done their time, they've paid their debt to society. We have to let that go. Paying attention? However, you can say no felonies for manufacturing illegal substance. No felony convictions for great bodily injury or bodily harm. That just cut out everybody that beat up somebody, tried to shoot somebody, used some form of an aggression to hurt someone else, whether it be an adult or a child, or manufacturing an illegal substance could be drugs. So you can't blanket, we don't accept felony convictions because that would make you being discriminatory. But you can define the felonies you won't allow. Make sense? I hope I got you, Val. So what mine says is no felony convictions for illegal manufacturing of or for manufacturing of an illegal substance. Okay, so anything that's a felony regarding drugs, you don't qualify. Anything regarding a violent crime causing bodily injury or harm to another human is also a felony I won't take. What else is there? Make sense? So if you have a felony for parking tickets, I'm probably going to rent to you. Prostitution would be great bodily harm to someone else, no? Rape would. A violent crime would. Make sense? Define the felony. And pick the two worst things that you just don't want to air property. And for me, it's drugs and any kind of physical assault. If someone provide rent-free credit report from a mortgage application recently, but there is no criminal or eviction screening, the AOA, other screening companies, do not offer a la carte without the credit report involved. How to handle. You're going to have to pay a la carte. And that's why they do it that way, David. So that you have no choice but to pay for all of it. Sneaky, sneaky, huh? Actually, her 2 convictions were dismissed, but the court records show dismissed. Val, you know as well as I do, if it was dismissed, it never happened. Only what you can prove. And allegations that are dismissed is nothing. Okay, you guys all see that? You guys see what Val wrote right there? She put, I'm not going to answer because she knows the answer. She knows the answer. I love you, Val. She knows the answer. I hope that makes sense to you and it clicks with you guys on what you have to be careful about what you say. One of the worst ones I saw this week come through was 2 things, okay? Both of them fair housing issues, so pay attention. A tenant told their landlord, gave him a doctor's note and said that they had an emotional support animal. And they were doing this via email. So there's a paper trail. It's not hearsay. It wasn't done with somebody's mouth. It's in writing. There is a paper trail of email communications between a landlord and a tenant, and they don't look good. It's in regards to an emotional support animal. And the landlord asks, you said you had a service animal and your doctor's note says it's an emotional support animal. I'm confused. Please explain. Sorry, I misspoke. It's an emotional support animal is the response. Then the landlord continues to ask questions. No questions, okay? She's already given a doctor's note. You're done with questions, okay? They ask, why do you need an emotional support animal anyway? Would you walk up to someone using a wheelchair and ask them, why do you use a wheelchair? No, you wouldn't. Remember, an emotional support animal is an assistive device for a disabled person, no different than a wheelchair. Don't ask them why. I will say the tenant's response was, because you're asking me all these questions. Don't know how that one's going to turn out yet. You guys stay tuned, but that's a bad one. One of the other ones that I saw earlier this week, and it made me go, oh no. A landlord did not change the criteria on their application. I'm sorry, on their criteria attached to the application, they didn't change it to read that the tenant must make 3 times the amount of their portion of the rent. It says tenants must make 3 times the amount of the rent to qualify. If they're on Section 8, you just discriminated and violated the law. The tenant doesn't have to make 3 times the amount of the rent. The tenant has to make 3 times the amount of their portion of the rent. And people tell me, why do I put that on there, Patty? Why? Why would I put their portion if they're not Section 8? What if they are? They don't always tell you, okay? So change that in your criteria now. Tenants must make, and if it's 2.5 times the amount of the rent, it's their portion of the rent. Their portion most likely is 100% of the rent. But in the event they didn't tell you they were Section 8, which is not a requirement, you have to make sure you're not in violation of the law. And you're not discriminating. Everybody take a note right now. Whatever that portion is, it's of the tenant's portion. It's whatever they're responsible to pay. Could be 2.5 times, could be 3 times. You don't want to tell somebody on Section 8 whose rent is $2,000 a month that they have to make $6,000 a month to qualify to live there, because they don't. If they only have to pay $6 a month, then they need to have a job that makes them at least $18 a month to qualify to live there. Now, if they don't have a job, then they don't qualify. And I mean, let's face it, you guys, we could all make $18 a month just by standing outside panhandling, probably. But if they don't have a job or a source of income, then they're not going to be able to pay that $18. So they're not income qualified. But if they have a part-time job and they work at the library 1 day a month and they make more than $18, then they're income qualified. My next question is, did they meet your FICO score? Okay, got it? Do not discriminate against source of income. It is really easy to do nowadays, and you got to make sure that you're preparing yourself for success, not failure. All right, does anybody have anything else? Because we are not going to be here next Wednesday.
Patty,
Yes.
if the source of income is welfare or social security, that qualifies, correct?
Absolutely. Food stamps are a source of income. Child support is a source of income. Welfare is a source of income. Stripping is a source of income. I'm kidding.
Even though like food, I didn't hear, what did you say? I didn't hear the last part.
I said stripping is a source of income. I was being funny. What do you got?
But food stamps qualifies for food. That would still be considered like for the $18 that they needed to make. For example, if they got $50 in food stamps, that qualifies.
How are they going to eat? Remember, it's still income that offsets their expenses for their food budget. It's still income.
Got it.
You still have to count it as income. Because let's face it, is groceries a part of your monthly expenses? It is mine. Everybody has an expense of groceries, right? If they get assistance paying that groceries, and ask anybody that's on assistance, they'll tell you, does that cover all your groceries for the month? No. I got a friend right now. She's disabled. She's hard of hearing. God love her. She uses sign language. They just changed her allotted food stamp amount to $36 a month. $36 a month. I couldn't live off that for a week for food stamps. Okay. Can you imagine in today's economy going to the grocery store and having $36 for the whole month? No. Remember when they talked about big reductions and taking away all the benefits from COVID? It really is affecting people that genuinely need it. I couldn't even begin to imagine if I had to budget my monthly grocery expenses to the tune of $36. But it's a source of income, so we add that to the grocery bill. We know that it's not going to pay all their groceries for the month. I mean, come on, if you look at what their income, just look at the next time somebody that is coming in with food stamps, look at what they get. It's pathetically disgusting. It's not enough to make it. $1.20 a day. Can you eat off $1.20 a day? In today's economy. I mean, remember when we used to go to the grocery store and buy 2 bags of groceries and it was $100 and we freak out? Now I don't even get a half a bag of groceries for $100. A half a bag. Things are going to change in a very rapid fashion, folks. What's going to happen? I have no idea, but we can't keep going the way that we are. It doesn't work. The system is broken. Yes.
Patty, I have a question, Patty.
Yeah, what you got?
Okay, so just a few days ago, we, with the help of one of the fast eviction lawyers, we finished an eviction of a tenant, and I specifically asked him, because another lady had the same problem. Someone zailed the last few minutes, and the lawyer cleaned it up in such a way. I approached the lawyer. I said, what happened if the last few minutes, 10 minutes before they zail us? He said, well, the situation is this. Either you know about it or you don't know about it. If you don't know about it, it can go through fine. If you knew about it, you need to have a check ready and give it to me. At the moment, I will give it to the judge saying that this is the money being returned to you. So I really want you to give me a clear understanding, because I would love to have Zelle to save money, not giving commission to Cozy and stuff like that. But I need your feedback on this, please.
It's a double-edged sword, okay? I hate Zelle because you can't control it. You can't turn it off. You can't close it unless you close your entire bank account.
But according to this lawyer, there's a solution. Yeah, you know, you either send the check
back. There's a solution, and I'm with you.
Thank you.
So I always tell my landlords now, when you're preparing yourself for court, please bring your checkbook. Please bring a blank check to court with you. You may be frustrated and make a mistake, bring two. And they're like, why, Patty? Because while you're sitting in the lobby of the courthouse and the tenants over there on their phone, just with their head down, they're making a deposit into your Zelle account so the eviction won't go through. If it's brought to your attention in the courtroom that a deposit was made, the judge is going to say that that is tendered if you know about it. If you don't know about it and you can whip out your checkbook and write a check and hand it back to them, you didn't tender the funds and you can proceed with the eviction. It's a new tactic tenants are using to screw over landlords. So take your checkbook to court with you as part of your court documents because you might need it.
But is that going to be still safe for us to take that approach? Or the judge?
If you had no knowledge of it and the court and the tenant saying, I just deposited $400 into their bank account. I know I owe them $4,000, but they tendered, they took it. I have the Zelle receipt right here. Hold on, someone very important is trying to call me and I sent them to voicemail. Sorry about that. So you have, and the tenant screaming, I have the receipt right here. I paid, they tendered payment. I had no knowledge that a deposit was made. When was it made? It was made this morning, 11 minutes ago. Oh, no problem. I'm not accepting payment through Zelle as I've told them before. I'm writing you a check right now. Here you go.
Thank you, Patty, for clarifying.
Okay. What happens in court is that happens and the landlord doesn't have the checkbook. The landlord isn't prepared for this tactic. So the landlord just says, I didn't know anything about it. I'll return it right away. How do you return it if you don't have your checkbook and the judge can't see what you're doing? Got it? Take your checkbook to court with you. And I hate Zelle because you can't control it. You can't turn it off. I would love to write to them and tell them, allow us to turn it off so people can't pay us. And they think that we're crazy because why would you want to be able to turn it off if people are sending you money? You want the money, right? We don't want to shut that off. Yes, we do. My other opinion to you is very simple. If you own 2 or 3 rental properties, open 3 checking accounts. Now the tenant has a checking account, they can make a deposit to, and if you're not happy with them, guess what? You can go close that bank account and all it affects is that tenant, not all of your auto car payments and everything else you have going through your regular bank account. If you have 50 rentals, don't go open 50 bank accounts. At that point, something like Cozy or an online software program is going to be most ideal for you and a lot less expensive than maintaining 2 or 3 bank accounts. Okay. Hope that makes sense. It's happened a lot in court cases. And yes, tenants will Zelle you from the lobby of the courthouse while they're waiting to go into trial. No joke.
Thank you, Patty.
Take your checkbook. Take your checkbook, take your checkbook, take your checkbook. Okay, I see that we got more questions coming in. Talking about Zelle, is Zelle allowed to use to make distribution to owners? Yeah, I don't see a problem with Zelling owners' money at all. As long as you can produce a paper trail if need be. Okay, see if this will pass. No felony convictions for manufacturing a illegal substance or violent crimes involving great bodily harm or injury. Love you. Put that in your criteria, verbatim. Because what you're saying now is any assault, any rape, any drug charges, selling, creating, any of that stuff, you probably just eliminated all of that. You may still have felony convictions coming through for parking tickets or I'm just trying to think, what is another crime that doesn't involve drugs or assault? Oh, what do they call that when they take money?
Grand theft.
Embezzlement, grand
Grand
theft, embezzlement, that kind of stuff. That would be something that you would accept. I know you guys don't want to accept felony convictions, but the reality is pick and choose your battles. You have to. So just pick which ones you're willing to tolerate and which ones you aren't. And don't make a list that's so extensive. See how Val wrote that? That's how mine is. Okay? It is one sentence. It doesn't list every kind of felony conviction there could be. Otherwise, you're just basically blanketing no felonies. You only describe 2 different crimes. Manufacturing an illegal substance, meaning making drugs. I don't want that in my property. I don't want you making dope in my house. I'm sorry, no. And I don't want you there if you beat people up, rape people, harm children. Making sense? I don't want that. Those are the 2 I just won't tolerate. And you're like, Patty, that's a lot more than 2. No, actually, it's great bodily injury, violent crime, great bodily injury, and manufacturing illegal substance. 9 times out of 10, and Val can verify this for us. So Val, if you're still on, please verify. In the event someone gets pulled over for selling drugs, they don't just get charged for being in possession. They usually throw the book at them and get them for manufacturing, for all these other things, selling, manufacturing, possession. I mean, they don't just throw one thing at you when they're dealing with a drug charge. They try to throw as much at you as they can. So usually if you have somebody that's selling drugs, they also have a charge for manufacturing. Would you agree with that statement, Val? Usually it's not just a possession. No? You don't agree? They just stick them with possession and leave it at that? Usually I've seen that they get them for possession, manufacturing, sales. I think everyone gets off with everything. I agree with that too. I mean, come on. They've made alcohol legal, right? Prohibition's over with, so alcohol is legal. Marijuana is legal, just as legal as alcohol. And now I hear that psychedelic mushrooms are legal. It's not bad enough that we have American citizens standing on street corners trying to pick lightning bugs out of thin air that aren't there. But now they're going to add psychedelic mushrooms to this and say that that's legal. Yes, population control. That's all it is. It's population control. And with all due respect, they made marijuana legal so they could do clinical studies on it. Because if it's a legal drug, now they can do, hey, this helps cancer patients so they can actually eat. Hey, this helps this. Hey, this helps that. They don't know unless it's legal and they can start testing it. And that's why they did it with psychedelic mushrooms. They're saying in micro doses, it can really help somebody that has psychological issues. Okay. Yeah, right. Let's get off the drug subject because it's just ludicrous. People are doing weird, crazy drugs now and turning into zombies doing them. And I think that the government enables it because they want the population control. Less population to deal with means less welfare checks going out, right? So I have no doubt that there's something there, but I'm not getting into that. Okay, let's go back to cozy.co. How does Cozy work? Cozy is an online payment system software that a landlord can sign up for, and it allows the tenants to pay you online, and you pay a small fee, or the tenant pays a small fee to pay online. So there's a small fee involved. It depends on how much money you're collecting, how much they charge you, obviously. But basically it gives the tenant an online portal that they can direct deposit their money to. It goes right into your bank account. It's nice because in the event you want to start an eviction, you can close the portal so they can't pay you that way anymore. You can't close Zelle, but you can close a cozy portal. Make sense? Always bring your checkbook to court with you, just in case. It's very important you don't forget that one, okay? Especially with the new way that they're able to pay online so easily. Now, not only with Zelle, but there's a lot of those programs out there that offer that. I can't even think of the names of some of them, or online payments that you can pay people or send people money to. You can do it right through Facebook Messenger now. Wait,
Venmo. Venmo.
Venmo. Thank you. Zelle, Venmo, Facebook Messenger. There's ways that you can just send people money through Facebook and it goes right into your bank account. So with that being said, having a system for your tenant to pay rent is probably the best way. And online software makes it the easiest because you can just shut it off. Okay, I see something else coming in about wall air conditioners. No wall air conditioners, central air or fans are provided in a property. Not during the viewing, not on the lease. Now a tenant is saying that they are having heat related issues and state we need to provide. There was no air conditioners at all on the property when the tenant moved in. Is that correct? And now they're saying that they want to install an air conditioning system. Oh no, I'm sorry. This house doesn't have a pool either. Did you want me to install one of those because you want to go swimming? Oh, did I say that in a way it made sense to you? I hope so. Oh, I'm sorry. This house doesn't have a fireplace. I'm not going to build one for you so you can hang your stockings over it at Christmas time. Same concept. I'm sorry, that's an amenity. Keyword amenity that this property doesn't offer. If it's something that you're looking for, I suggest you find another property. You are not required to put air conditioning in a property, okay, at this time. Some cities have air conditioning as a habitability issue if there's already a unit there. I say what you see is what you get. There you go. I have been a bit out of our radar lately, but what would be the main difference between San Diego City ordinance or the Chula Vista ordinance? They're different municipalities, so they can each have their own ordinances. Okay, let me give you an example. City of LA can have an ordinance. City of West Hollywood can have an ordinance. City of East Hollywood could have an ordinance. City of South Hollywood could have an ordinance. All of those ordinances could be different, but each municipality, meaning the city, can come up with their own rules. I hope that makes sense. So the city of San Diego has rules and the city of Chula Vista has rules, and they're different. I hope that makes sense. In transitioning to Cozy, would this be sent to all tenants via a change in terms? If they don't have computer web access, do they have another option? Yeah, I mean, this is just another way for them to pay via online payments. That's all. What is the city of San Diego and what is the ordinance of the city of Chula Vista? Veronica, you're funny. You're funny. You think I know those by heart? That's like asking me to quote LA City's RSO to you right now. So what I do is I utilize Google, okay, especially in LA County, and I type in the city and the state. So I would type in Chula Vista, California rent control ordinance and hit search. If there's one, the city of Chula Vista will come up immediately. City of Chula Vista, new rent. So then you'd start clicking there and reading through that stuff. If it goes to County of San Diego or something along those lines, then that city doesn't have any measures in place right now. That's how I look it up. And I don't know if you guys know this, there's a rally in the Valley going on. They're trying to add Burbank, South Pasadena, and 3 other of those cities all into their own rent control ordinance. So even Claremont is looking at rent control ordinance. So with that being said, watch it now, because all these little municipalities are coming up with their own rules and regulations that we're required to follow. So the best place to keep up with that is visit the city's website, okay? Or use Google. It's your friend, I promise. P.S. I would recommend to bring cash to court. I had to pay one rotten tenant $700 in cash to settle a deal with the arbitrator outside of small claims court. Okay, small claims, I would tell you to bring cash too. It works. Or bring a check. Anytime you're going to a court case, bring a check, bring some cash. You never know what's going to happen. You are Patty, the best of the West. Oh, so let me tell you something, just so you know, okay? I tried to pick an area to keep current on the rules when COVID first started, because it was a nightmare and all those little cities were doing their own thing and we had to keep track. I wanted to rip my hair out. Well, then the state law came in and everybody had to follow it, okay? The state law is gone now and all the little municipalities can come up with their own rules again. But Patty wants to rip her hair out again, okay? So with that being said, watching those municipalities and what their rules are is what will keep you on top of your game. Okay, so as an example, if you own property in Kern County, yes, I'm talking to you, Val, and you have them in multiple cities in Kern County, they don't have those problems over there. They also don't have those problems in Riverside County, Ventura County, or San Bernardino County. The only places we are seeing additional protections for tenants after COVID is in LA County, Orange County, and San Diego County. If you stand back and you look at the state of California in a big picture, for Southern California, all those restrictions are only in counties that run along the coast. Let's think about that. If all these protections that are being offered to tenants only seem to appear to be happening in counties that run along the coast, maybe I don't want to do business in those counties. Something to think about. Okay, what else do we got? How much would you recommend to bring in cash for small claims court? Is $1,000 good? You want the honest answer to that question? How much money is the tenant suing you for? That's how much money you should bring to court. If they're suing you for $2,000 for their security deposit, bring $2,000 to court. Make sense? Not 3,000, just 2,000. Yep, Val's got it, and settle for 1,000 cash today. Well, depending on what it is. Usually when I have something like that going on, I'm the one doing the suing. I'm not the one getting sued, and I'm not bringing any money. I'm attacking. But if you are being sued, different set of facts. Bring cash for however much they're suing you for. And if you can make a settlement before going to see the judge and it works for you, do that. I was being sued for, I lost it. Where'd it go? There it is. I was being sued for towing the creep's car. Were there signs up on the property regarding towing out in the common parking lot? Because that's most important.
Patty, I have a quick question. Well, actually, it's not that. I started for the first time evicting somebody in the city of Southgate and in city of, I can't remember the other city, but it's city of Southgate. Maybe the other one was Huntington Park for the first time after COVID. So I didn't know really what 3-day I should use now. So I went to AGLA, I was looking at the forms, and I happened to call Jennifer at AGLA. And I said, okay, so I'm going to serve these people now. What do I send this same notice to? What is the municipality, or who am I supposed to send this to? And she said, no, in those cities, you don't have to send it to anybody. I said, I was just on a Zoom call with Patty. By the way, she knew who you were. And
I know Jennifer well.
yeah.
Jennifer helped me translate from Mandarin to English sometimes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she knew you. I said, she's like, where did you hear this? And I said, Widget's Way. She's like, oh, Patty. And I said, yeah. She said that every single city has somebody governing them. So we have to send this document somewhere, either to this place or that place. And she said, I have no idea what that is. And she said she was going to call you about it. I don't know if she did or if she didn't.
She did, and it's being refined now, what notices we don't have to send to those municipalities. We're starting to figure that out. But in the very beginning, I told you, just send everything to them, because I'd rather have you send them everything and them go, we don't want this, rather than you not send the one document you needed to,
Right.
and that hang you up. So while we were trying to figure all that out, I said, send them everything, because that's the one way I can protect you. And my job is to protect you.
Oh,
Now
no,
that we're
absolutely.
getting-
I just didn't
now
know
that we're-
where to send it.
Now that we're getting it a little bit more defined, we're able to answer those questions better. With LAHD coming out of nowhere and saying blanketly, we govern the entire county. If you're not governed by LARSO or DCBA, then we govern you. Then it was like, whoa, well, what notices do you need to see? They need to see cure quits. They need to see 3-day quits. They need to see termination of tenancies. They don't necessarily need all your rent increases. It all depends on the municipality you're dealing with and why. Okay, so property management has gone from learning how to manage property to learning who governs you and what you have to send to them. No joke.
Yeah.
It's learning who the real boss is and what they need and what they don't want. And a lot of times you can call them, do you want my rent increases? No, we don't want those. Okay, what notices do you want? And they'll tell you. But in the beginning, yes, we were telling them, just send them everything, all your rent increases, anything you're doing, send to them. Because we had a case where one of the cure quits out of the 5 that were served to the tenant didn't get sent to the municipality. So when we did the 3-day notice to quit, the case was bad.
Okay, but since I'm doing a 3-day in the city of Southgate, and Jennifer saying I don't have to send it anywhere, just serve the tenant, do I just
Is it a
serve?
single family residence?
No, it's an apartment.
Who is your legal counsel?
You are. Well,
I understood what you meant by that. I'm not legal counsel, but I
Yeah.
do work for an attorney. I got
Yeah.
you. But I
Mhm.
wanted to save my own butt right there. I'm not an attorney.
That's
So just call them and ask them in the city of Southgate, because the problem is I can answer your question if I'm sitting in front of my computer.
okay.
Obviously, right now I'm not, so I can't answer your question. But call
Okay.
them and ask them, what municipality do I send a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit to in the city of Southgate? And they'll be
Okay.
able to tell you like that.
Okay.
I
So I was
can't
just
right
confused
now.
with Jennifer, and she was like, no, and we were going. It's confusing.
Jennifer's right. And it is very confusing because this city does and this city doesn't. That city does and this city doesn't. So it is very confusing. And because it's so confusing in the beginning, rather than telling you guys, wait, don't do anything, I want to tell you, no, serve your notice. Just send a copy to the municipality. If they don't want it, then they don't want it. Who cares? At least you're not going to get tied up on a
Right.
technicality.
I
So that was my
absolutely want to
mindset.
do that. I just didn't know what municipality I should send it to.
Right. And now that things are starting to come to a head, we're starting to build a statute, if you will, of what ordinance affects which city. We're starting to build this. So with that being said, it's much easier for us to answer that question for you. But in the beginning, I did, in a blanket statement, say inundate them, send them everything. Because if you miss that one document, that's the one that's going to bite you. So now that things are playing out the way that they are, we're able to tell you a lot better what cities you have to do and what cities you do not. I hope that helped.
Very much. Thank you.
Okay. But in the beginning, I always try to immediately figure a way just to protect you as a whole. And that's what I came up with. They're not going to get mad at you for sending them stuff they don't need or don't want. They're just going to tell you not to do it. And until we figure out what that is, send them everything. Right? Then you don't get in trouble. So there's a method to my madness of why I told you that. But now that it's a little bit more defined and I can have a list that I could sit here and read to you, okay, these 17 cities require that you send all notices to them. You know, I'm just not sitting in front of that right at this moment, but call Fast Evict and they'll be able to answer your question like that. Thank you. All right. Anybody else have anything? I saw something come through.
Hi, Patty. This is
Yes.
Suri. I have a tenant that's been living there for at least 7 years, and all of a sudden, this is second story. All of a sudden, she wants me to wash her windows from the outside. So basically, I told her, you can open the window and clean it. And I'm just wondering about the window that she opens, the stationary, not the stationary, the movable window. Who's responsible for cleaning it?
Who's responsible for cleaning the kitchen sink?
Okay, I thought so.
Who's responsible for cleaning the bathtub? I'm just asking you questions in general.
Well, the tenant is.
So the tenant would be responsible for cleaning their own windows?
Oh,
that means they could hire a window cleaning company to come do that for them on the second floor because they don't have the tools to do it themselves.
All right.
Fair enough?
Yes, thank you.
So what I tell them is cleaning falls on you. And if you want your exterior windows cleaned, I suggest you call a window cleaner. Because we don't want to tell tenants to hang out the window. They could fall and break their neck.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So just
Got
tell
it.
them cleaning is your responsibility. So if you're having trouble cleaning those high windows, I'd hire a window cleaning company. I see another question from K Tour. Small claims court. How do you negotiate with the tenant? They make you do that in mediation before you go see the judge out in the courtroom lobby. What notice goes to the city of San Diego? What notice in the city of San Diego for, we are not talking about San Diego County when we're talking about serving a copy of the notice to the municipality. We are specifically talking about LA County only, okay? San Diego doesn't have anything like that at this time. They may implement a system tomorrow, but they don't have one today, okay? We're only talking about LA County as far as notifying a municipality about a notice that you serve to the tenant. That is
Which
only
notice?
going on in
Which
LA
notice?
County.
Patty, which notices? Is that which notice has to be done that way in LA County? Is
Any
Really?
notice that would terminate tenancy. That would be a 30-day, a 60-day, a 90-day, a 3-day, a 30-day, pay rent or quit. Anything that would terminate tenancy. And some municipalities require that you send your rent increase notices to them as well.
how about perform and quit?
Yeah, that's a 3-day cure or quit. If you're going to use it for an eviction, it might have to go to the municipality that governs you.
30, is that a 30-day notice or 3-day notice for perform or quit in LA County?
It depends on what city you're in.
Okay,
LA
and
City required a 30-day, everywhere else requires a 3-day unless your lease contract specifically says, has a paragraph regarding default. Okay? There is a default paragraph in all commercial contracts. Some savvy landlords take paragraphs from a commercial contract and implement it in a residential contract. If you have a default paragraph in a residential contract, you did something wrong, because your default should be in accordance with the law for residential properties. Should be for commercial too, but a lot of people put a default in there. You have a 7-day cure or quit, a 15-day cure or quit. They put those terms right in their rental agreement, giving the tenant more time. I've never understood it. Why? So if you have a residential contract and you've kind of pieced it together over time, please make sure you do not have a default clause in there saying that if the tenant defaults, they have 15 days to cure. That means you have to serve a 15-day notice. Okay? Make sense? So it all depends on what your lease contract says and what the municipality says on how much of a cure or quit notice you have to give. For the most part, it's usually 3 days. Okay? Only City of Los Angeles is a 30-day cure or quit. And depending on what your rental contract says, you might have to do a 7-day, a 10-day, a 15-day, a 30-day. That would be a default clause, just so you know what you're looking for when you're looking at the paragraphs. One says rent, one says security deposit, one says occupants, one says attorney's fees clause, one says default. If you have a default clause in a residential contract, that's probably not the best business practice. And I'd talk to your attorney about removing it, changing it, etc.
pay or quit still is 3-day, right?
It depends. For the most part, yes, unless you have a default clause that gives them more time.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, I saw a couple more things come by and then I'm going to get off of here. How do you deal with abandonment? Post a notice on the property, wait the allotted time period, and then I take possession. It's that easy. Two of the easiest things, abandonment and surrender. No move out inspection is required. Regarding the upstairs windows, I would get a few bids from licensed company and give the tenant the choice to pay them directly or make payment arrangements with the owner if they can't pay up front. Otherwise, live with dirty windows. Val, that is a spot on best business practice right there. AOA has abandonment forms. Okay. Is it abandonment of real property or abandonment of personal property? Real property. So real property would be a notice of abandonment of real property would mean, and don't quote me to this, I don't have the document in front of me, but let's see how good my little blonde brain works. I believe that in order to be able to post the notice of abandonment of real property, the rent has to be unpaid for a consecutive 14 days. And then obviously you do your 24-hour, you know that you went in there, they're gone, they're not there, the neighbors haven't seen them. Then you could post the notice of abandonment of real property. In the event you have a municipality that governs you that needs a copy of these notices, that would be one I'd be asking my attorney if I had to send that to them. If they don't reclaim the abandoned real property within that 18-day time frame, because it is 18 days, you have to wait 14 days of unpaid rent, and then you can post the belief of real property, and then they have 18 days to tell you, no, I still live here. If they do that, you're done with that notice. If they don't do that, on the 18th day, you can do 24 hours, go back in, make sure nobody's still there, and then take possession. It is now your house. Hope that helped you.
How do you deal with the leftover personal properties inside?
Because you should be posting both notices, belief of abandonment of real property and personal property at the same time. Got it?
Perfect, thank you.
No problem. Anybody have anything else, or I'm going to end this for today and we will not be on here next week. I will be in the middle of the ocean, hopefully reeling in my very first halibut. We'll see. I want a halibut this time. I want to come back and say, you guys, I went fishing just for the halibut. And I don't eat fish. Go figure. Bluefin will pull me over, girl. I got a feeling if I got a bluefin, I would be swimming. Swimming with the fishes. No doubt. It would pull me over. I caught a 29-inch white sea bass. It was the biggest fish in my life last time I went out. So we'll see what happens this time. And I did okay with that. We'll see. I plan to. If you guys need me, text me on my cell phone. As soon as I come back into cell phone range, I'll start responding to all the text messages. I don't answer voicemails right away because I'm in and out of service as I'm coming back into port. So with that being said, just be patient. You should hear from me by that Friday. Should be off the water then. All right, you guys have a great week. If you need me, you know how to hunt me down. If you have questions, you can always call Fast Evict. My team would be more than happy to help assist you. It is all on the same form, David. The 14-day non-payment, then 18 days more to contact. It's all on the same form. You just need 2 separate forms, one for real property, one for personal property. Serve them at the same time. Awesome. You guys have a great week. I'm here if you need me. Bye.